Hello. It's freezing outside, man. How everybody doing? Let me show y'all. Ooh, it snowed. But I just want to get on here, man. Have a quick conversation, man. At least express myself some type of way, somehow. But it's a lot of stuff going on this year for me. Shit. I know it's a lot of stuff going on for everybody else as well. It's a lot. Especially with this weather going back and forth. You can't really predict how anything going right now, but shit, I like to say, man, because I know it's hard for a lot of people just outside of myself, it doesn't really gotta be mental situations, people just going through physical things that I might not can comprehend, you feel me? But it's it's gonna be a way that you can get through it any way possible. No matter where you come from, no matter where you start, you can get through it. It's gonna feel like at every moment that it's hard, that why you, that but once you take the time to sit back and release yourself and stay within yourself and feel that peace for a moment, then you'll be okay. Because we've all been put here at a point where we don't know exactly where to go with everything in life. We don't know how this is supposed to be for us. This is our first experience. Like, we get so caught up in everything being around us and being overstimulated to our brain so much that you don't realize that, like, this is your first experience. And it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be trials and tribulations that's gonna try to, put you down. But in reality, it's supposed to build you as a person. And when you go through so much and you question life in itself as well as question what you're supposed to be doing, you kind of circle around what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be figuring out in that purpose. Like, you're a divine being, whether it be Christianity, Buddhism, Rastafari, whatever you believe in, you're a soul being having a physical experience that can't be taken away from you, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you look at it, science, any way possible. You're a soul being having a physical experience. So be at peace with that. Realize that it's something about you that can't be taken away from this universe. So grow in that. Grow in your problems. Grow in the things that make you feel like that you can't do it, because that's the reason you can. That's the exact reason you should do it. It's I'm expecting my first child, and that feeling in itself is just like the greatest feeling for me, bro, because when you go through life not having, or I want to say not having, or seeking love in certain instances that you weren't able to get it, not because that person can give it to you, or not because your parents can really, be there for you. It's just how life goes sometimes. You can't really blame people for their life or their perspective on it, because like I said, it's our first experience and it's hard for everybody. And when you grow and understand that, you can kind of learn a way to build that love for yourself. You kind of learn to seek that love for yourself. And you kind of get that in negative instances too. Like, for example, a young girl who grows up without her father, she'll seek that love, that masculine love, in every other man that she's trying to be with. In reality, it'll just break her, because if this person's doing her wrong, she wouldn't know. She wouldn't even be able to determine if that person's doing her wrong. She more so love it because that's the only perspective she has of a man. You have so many young women who believe that toxicity is the way when it's towards a person, or towards any relationship that they have. It's because of what they lost, the absence of what they have versus all that they have. When you have young men that are misguided, and women that are misguided as well, and you have a father that's not there, so he can't really teach his young lady to determine what a man really is. And for his instances with men, is we don't have our father to really teach us how to be men, to really treat women right. And you have a generation now. Okay, it had messed up, but back to my initial conversation, saying like, yes, we have a lost generation has that have a lot of love lost, and it's very prevalent. You can see it in how we carry ourselves, how our generation move. Like, a lot of us are lost. We ain't got a love. We ain't got a lot of love, and people will disguise that in many ways. Like, we've been so planted in mental ways to hide this and be macho and make us feel like that it's okay to hurt. It's okay to keep this inside. It's okay to not cry. It's okay to not want to express these feelings, when in reality, that's not how you get on with life. That's not how you live. That's not how you become a man. And everything that we've been shown our whole entire life, I'm saying, for example, like black men, we've been always shown that we have to be strong. We have to always have this instead of that when it comes to how we're supposed to feel, and in a way that kind of backfired for how we treat our women, because now we have a generation of men that want to prove more so to other men that they are not soft, or that they are respect, that they have respect, and not really, you know, lost when it comes to how they can carry themselves in the streets. So in the streets or whatnot, but that's really making us lose in the back end. You have a generation of women that desire those same men, because that's the only masculine men they know of. They don't know of a masculine man like Dr. Phil. They don't. I said Dr. Phil. Lord have mercy. That's it, Dr. Phil. They don't know of masculine men like Uncle Phil. They don't know of masculine men like Sanford and Son. They don't know of black men like those, men. So it's like, when you have NBA Youngboy, you have all of these rappers basically making black men feel like, okay, if to get my women, I have to be this image, they're going to become that. Why do you think a lot of people that go to school in young days, when they're mature, they're paying attention in class, they're actually being mentally there when it comes to having a morality and just being a kid, and in a way they kind of lose themselves amongst their peers because of how they're perceived when it comes to, it's not accepted, what is cool, what is not accepted, what is not okay. Is reading okay? Now look at you can look at some comments on any video or any picture, saying somebody's reading, and their comments would be like, they're laughing at the person that's reading. We're making a mockery of people that read, when the kids now cannot pronounce at all. Like, kids now don't have grammar at all. So it's like, it's working in a way, but who is it benefiting for, when you have little kids that can't even read a Dr. Seuss book, when we were reading Dr. Seuss books before the 3rd grade? So it's kind of scary now. Like, but I'm getting off topic. My initial, back to the point. I'm becoming a father, so it's like, why wouldn't I want to be there? Why wouldn't I want to give out that same love that I didn't really receive in the way that I felt like I should have? And I could push that love back out in way more positive way to a child of minds that could bring them into a world that could save other people that look like us, that could feel like us, that go through the same things that I went through, but he would never or she would never have to experience. So it's like I can do that. If I can change the world for myself inside of me, the person that I look at in the mirror, then I know that displaying an image of me, my child will be happy. I don't care if a lot of people will say that I'm young, I'm 20, of course. Well, I'm about to be 20. And then they say, this is a broken world. You bring the people into a broken world, but we're the people in the broken world. The world is broken because of us. So it's if you can recognize that the world is broken, you can also stand on top of it and fix it. So I will continue to keep going for us that because I know that there's somebody somewhere that's going to hear me speak, even if it's only one person, even if it's a million people. Somebody out of those people will hear me and feel like they can keep going. That's all that I want to be known, that you can keep going, bro. It's hard. It's hard, most definitely, but you can do it. So take some time, take it one step at a time, and be at peace with yourself, because knowing that you are the person in the mirror is just knowing that the problems in this world is yours as well. You're not exempt from it. You're not separate from it. You're in it and you don't recognize it. And that's okay, because it takes time to recognize change needs to be happening, because that's what it is. Change is really going in a different direction, and a lot of people don't like going in different directions. You'll always have a person that's not accepting something changing, but you'll always have two people that want to change for the better. What do you it's what are you going to focus on as a person? And you attract who you are. You attract what you are. Sit in peace. Be within yourself. The more you become yourself, the more you shine as yourself, the more you gravitate towards people that are like you. The more you become in circles that are like you. You ever seen a lot of people that excuse me. You ever seen a case of certain people that they were always just to themselves? You never could really understand who that person was as far as what they wanted to be or as far as their circle, but you knew that person was a good, genuine person. Now, that person being in an environment that they cannot really express themselves really suppresses that person. That's why you have certain people with personality shifts where they'll then be blamed by that community for wanting to conform and try to gaining respect within that community, but there's not really no outreach for them to grow within themselves as the person that they were before. So now you've created a monster in the way that you can't really understand. I won't say monster. Now you've created a person that you can't really understand now, and you're shunning them for the person that they want to be accepted by you, when the person changed because they shifted the direction that they felt you wouldn't accept because you didn't accept. So we as people have to recognize that people are different. There are differences with everyone in some way, somehow. We have to learn how to connect within those differences, because we're being played upon our differences. They're using our differences as ways to keep us divided, when yeah, you're going to have people saying, after everyone wants to really separate from the governmental system, you're going to have people saying, well, I don't really want to be with those people. I don't really want to group up with other people. And that is going to be the case, because a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to really connect, but that's the point. That's the difference in it. You connect because the difference is not try to build on what's the same. And we're really realizing that now, that you can't build a nation, you can't build a planet. You can't build a societies on same, idolized, same, biased feelings, because it doesn't work out when you don't really know how to connect with something that's not like you, when you don't really know how to see something that doesn't really feel the same as you, but you know how to love it the same as you. But that's been broken from us as people. We've learned to recognize ourselves in the mirror, but not really our peers as a mirror as well, no matter the color. And you'll have people that say you don't see color, when that's the point. You should see color. You should always see color. You were born to see every color, more than just every color. So when you're saying that you don't see color, it's you're ignoring color. When you say that you don't see color, you're ignoring the color. When you ignore the color, you ignore what the color is, you ignore what the color has to go through. And in that same sense of saying that you ignore it, you're not paying attention to how the color feels, because you're ignoring it. It's like this. I'm the color. Me, brown. If you say you don't see color, you don't see my problems, you don't see the things that I went through. When you say it, you feel that you're saying it in a way that I don't recognize color. I recognize the person. When in reality, that's not how it is. You should recognize color. You should recognize color, person, soul, culture. You should see that in the same sense as yourself in the mirror. Color, person, soul. Because color is energy. Color is divinity. Color is who your identity is. You are your color. And once you build that pride within yourself, then you can also understand that that's not a bad thing, whether you're Indian, white, Asian, black, brown. It's not a bad thing to love yourself and love your color. What's bad is not recognizing the differences in other colors and feeling like that because you don't recognize the difference, that you don't see the problem, meaning you don't contribute to the problem of it. But the sole fact of it being is, if you don't see the color, you're ignoring the color and its issues, and that creates the problem in the whole. So what you should do is see color, understand color, know it from beginning to end, because once you do that, you understand your spectrum on the color. You understand your color spectrum. You understand how you get to you. Once you understand that every color is a rub of another color, you realize that there's no way possible that we should be separate. You're another version of that same person you do not understand yet, because you're ignoring that color. Ignoring that color is also resulting in you never finding out why you're that glow yourself. And that takes time. Figure out your glow. And sometimes it's not really always about your glow. You have to look at people that you do not understand, people that you can't comprehend in a certain sense, to learn that different glows make yours. Your glow make theirs. There is a way that we can all go in a circle with our colors, cultures. And when I say colors, I'm basically saying cultures, people, differences, races. And basically come together, because once you realize that we've been deceived all together, not by a color, not by a color. It's not a color that's deceiving colors. Not at all. We're being drained of ours. We've always been drained of ours. Every instance of your life, every instance of your existence, you're being drained of your colors in this realm. School. School starts off with helping you with your colors. They teach you your colors. They help you understand what you are. Then they take you away from it, putting you in the physical sense, asking you what you want to be. when you say that you don't want to be things that they can comprehend, they take it away from you. They snatch that away from the child then, saying, oh no, you can't be that. You can't be this and that. You can't go there. That's where limitations come in the kid. That's where color starts to dim. You start to seek outside. You start to want to explode more. That's where you have chatter talkers. Chatter talkers. That's where you have loud talking kids. That's where you have kids that want to express themselves so much and talk about what they did and show you a little dance that they're doing because it's being slowly dimmed and you're not realizing it. The more you congratulate them for the colors in the beginning and they slowly realize that the colors don't really matter in the sense that we've lost ours. So they're learning that colors don't really mean anything for them anymore, that their imagination isn't really the same thing anymore. When you have generations of people that didn't have technology, that didn't have internet, but were creating things that we still use to this day, that should make you wonder what is going on. Like, when you have that happening, you should look at what are we losing because of what we've gained before, and why won't they just let it progress? Because they're still here. They don't know how to let the newer generation progress. They don't know how to let change happen in a natural order. They don't know how to sit back and let the kids grow and change the world for what it's really supposed to be. They want to play the God in themselves. When you have, in a sense, a loss of life, when you feel like you're at a declining sense, you want to seek out everything, a seek of creation. That's where you have people that want these big billionaires that want to create robots, that want to create technology that puts us in different perspectives because they want to be a god of a reality in which they can't live. You get me? They want to be a god of a reality in which they can't live. And it's meaning in which they can't live. They drain your energy. They drain. They drain. They drain. They're not living. There's no instance where they're living. They want to be the god of a reality. So they're controlling control. They have control, they have a control sense in the reality that they do not want to die. They don't want to let go of a reality that's departing from outside of them. So you have big businesses that have been here since 1930, 1940 that just can't let go. And we still have those businesses. We haven't had any new businesses. That don't sit with anyone else. Like, we've had Walmart, McDonald's, these fast food places for how long? That doesn't sit with you. There's no new creative minds. There's no new creative foods. There's no new creative ideas. There's no new cultural breakthroughs. Nothing. With as many people that have came and existed, that doesn't cross your mind that we don't see new things every day. We don't see new inventions every day. We don't see new people speaking out every day about something. We don't. That should sit with you in a way like, why? Why? Why is it taking so long for something to change this realm? Because there's people on this realm that's holding us hostage. There's people on this realm that are draining. They figured out a way to see through and continuously drain and drain and drain. And there's nothing we can do about it at this point. When you have people on the internet saying, well, if we go on strike, what are we going to do then? What are we going to do now? We're broken. When you have people on the internet saying, they're making homelessness illegal, what are we going to do now? And there's no one on the street. We're broken. When you have millions of people witnessing the genocide and nobody has the courage to stand outside and burn a building and burn something, because what then? We're broken. When you have bombs dropping on kids' heads, children stuck to the sides of buildings, women weeping with their children in their hands, when you have all of this loss and you still question, what are we going to do? You're broken. You've been broken. When you have sports, a Super Bowl, and 120 million people watching in attendance, while the owners of said Super Bowl are dropping bombs on the other side of the world on children's heads, while your child is dressed in a jersey celebrating his favorite player, it's another kid losing his life at that same moment. When we don't get outside and we don't create change, you realize that we're broken. We've been broken for so long now, and we've been comfortable in our uncomfortableness. We've became okay with being broken for so long now, and it's killing us, and we're not realizing. There's going to be a point in life where, in this experience, where we're going to have to see the truth. We're going to see the gore. We're going to have to keep saying this over and over until we actually get the big push. There's not going to be a big push until someone attacks America. Until someone blows up a building here, there's not going to be no one stepping out on the street for no life lost, because we feel separate from that. We're taught to be separate from it, from so many things in life. When you can continue to be fed media showing you the world is so beautiful, but you can't see the world, not knowing that they're destroying the same world that you can't see, also while teaching you that you must work in that same world to go see that world, also while teaching you that they are viewing and seeing the world, because there's classes, there's rich and poor. You're somewhere in the middle. You're somewhere here. You're somewhere there. So that separates you morally. That changes you mentally. You become a person that you desire to be for a reality that you want to be, because of what you perceived from movies, shows, everything indoctrinated into your brain. Everything put in front of you becomes what you now put as your goals. Goals and dreams. What's the difference? What's the difference between goals and dreams? In my perspective, goals are what they put in front of you. Goals are the ceiling that when you I'm gonna give an analogy first before I explain my perspective. A grasshopper. Put a grasshopper in the jar, grow that grasshopper within the jar. Grow a grasshopper in a container right next to that jar. 3 years go by feeding those grasshoppers in that container. You take the jar off and see the limits of which they can jump. The one that was in the jar will only know the capabilities of the ceiling of that jar. The one that was in the container will know the capabilities of everything in that container. We are stuck within the jar. We in America do not know that we're in a jar.
Let him who has eyes see clearly.